What's up YouTube, it's the Gaming Jackal, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite Dynasty Warriors characters. Now, I'm a fan of the Dynasty Warriors series. I grew up on it. It's a really good game series, and I decided to put together a list of my top 10 favorite characters from Dynasty Warriors. Now, this is a very hard list to make because there's a ton of good characters in the series, and it was hard putting it together. But let's get started with this list. So, my number 10 choice is going to be Zhuge from the Jin Kingdom, which is technically Wei. I like Zhuge. I like the introduction of him, and ever since then I've liked him. I like his character design. He has a relation to Zhuge Liang. I always thought he was a cool strategist, a cool character. I like his design a lot. I like both of his weapons, whether it's the fan, but I prefer his baton in Dynasty Warriors 8, where you can smack and beat people up with the baton and, you know, grab them with your arm and hand and do damage with them. I like his special. I like his voice acting. I like how he presents himself. He looks like Dracula with the way his hair is like slicked back. He looks like fucking Dracula, especially with like the his clothes, like the collar coming up. That's what he looks like. And I was pissed when fucking Jai Chong killed him in Dynasty Warriors 8, whichever. I remember Dynasty Warriors 8 had like a hypothetical thing, so I think you have a choice to let him live. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played Dynasty Warriors 8, but Zhuge was introduced in Dynasty Warriors 7 in the Jin Kingdom, and then he's been in 8. He's been in 9, though I haven't played 9. I used him in Warriors Orochi 3. I don't know if I used him in Warriors Orochi 4 or not, but I used him in Dynasty Warriors 7 and 8, and he's a fun character to use gameplay-wise, combo-wise, whether it's the fan or the baton. I prefer the baton. His specials are fun to use. I like what he says when you defeat officers. I like his voice actor. I like his design. I like him as a character overall, and he was always just my favorite from the Jin Kingdom. That's my number 10 choice, Zhuge. The number 9 choice is going to be Gan Ning. More specifically, his Dynasty Warriors 3 to 5 counterpart, though 6 is his last decent one. Gan Ning, back in the day, was a fucking badass. One of my favorites easily. I loved Gan Ning back in the day from Wu. He was a straight beast. He had tattoos all over him. He had this dope ass like design where he had like this headband and like his hair would stick up, and he would have this badass pirate sword. His Musu attack was crazy powerful because you could just charge forward at people. I loved his combos. I loved using him in gameplay with his sword. His voice actor was badass. My personal favorite one is like the one from 4. I love his voice in 4. It's awesome as hell. I love the costumes you can get with him in Dynasty Warriors 4. The vest, or him without his vest. He went up against Shang Liao. And he was just a badass character. I didn't mind him in Dynasty Warriors 6 with like that, with the daggers. He was cool in that, and I liked his chemistry with Lu Meng, where he called him old man and stuff. But his prime was definitely 3 to 5, because that's when he had the tattoos, the short hair, the headband, and like the pirate sword. And he was just a badass character ready for a fight. Badass pirate ready to throw down, go up against Shang Liao. Fun to use, badass weapon, fun combos, great Musu attacks to use, great voice actor that was fun to listen to, fun to use as a character, and you just felt like a complete badass playing as Gan Ning. And I always thought Gan Ning was a badass character. He would be way higher on the list if they didn't butcher him though, because in Dynasty Warriors 7 and 8, like, he sucks now. They give him the crappy scythe or the lame ass flail, and they make his hair look dumb. I hate what they did to Gan Ning. They ruined Gan Ning's character. Thus, that's why he's not higher on the list. But that's my number 9 choice, Gan Ning. Badass character. Really like him a lot. It's just a shame that he got ruined. But his best prime was 3 to 5. That was legendary status for sure. The number 8 choice is going to be Dong Zhuo. And much like Gan Ning, I got some stuff to say about Dong Zhuo. And before I get into the bad, Dong Zhuo is definitely one of my favorite characters. Always been one of my favorite characters. And I think he's the best character out of the other section. I like Dong Zhuo. He's a great villain. His voice actor is fantastic. And when I'm talking about Dong Zhuo, I'm talking about the Dynasty Warriors 3 to Dynasty Warriors 5 Dong Zhuo. That was the best Dong Zhuo. He had the badass sword, especially in 4 and 5. He had that crazy looking, like, it almost looked like a hacksaw mixed into a sword. It was like spiky. And that was like his weapon, and that was a lot of fun to use in combat. I liked his Musu, I liked his combos, I liked his design, the purple, he's fat, and he was just a very good villain, a very good villain. You know, the stuff he had going on with Lu Bu, and then Lu Bu betraying him. You know, playing as him in like Dynasty Warriors 4, for example, was interesting because he had a campaign and he had to kill Lu Bu because Lu Bu betrayed him, and he went against Wei Wu and Shu, and he was like the villain of them, and he was just a great character. His voice actor is phenomenal. I love his voice actor in 4 and 5. Very gruff, it just fits him so well, and it's fantastic. I love Dong Zhuo as a character. Fuck what they did with him after 5. He sucks in part 6 with the club. At least he still has this good voice actor, but his club sucks in 6. Then in 7, he's even worse with the damn flail. He's even worse in 8 with the whatever weapon he had, the bombs. Like, that shit is trash, man. Give him back his fucking sword. I don't want to play as Dong Zhuo with bombs. I don't want to play as Dong Zhuo with a flail. I want to use his damn sword. Also, they went way too crazy with him being fat. I mean, yeah, I know Dong Zhuo's always been fat, but he's not that fat to where he looks like fucking, I don't know what, a giant basketball moving around in the fucking battlefield. Like, they made him way too fucking big. So, yeah, I love Dong Zhuo. Great character, phenomenal villain, great bad guy, great voice actor, fun to use in gameplay, great character design. Love his sword in 4 and 5. He was good in 3 as well, but that sword in 4 and 5 is really a very iconic weapon. And he always stood out to me, and he was always one of my favorites, and I thought he was a great villain. Much like Gan Ning, Dong Zhuo would be higher on this list if they didn't fuck him up in 6, 7, and 8. Damn shame they ruined his character. But that doesn't stop him from still being on the list because he is one of my favorites. So that's my number 8 choice, Dong Zhuo. My number 7 choice is going to be, I know this isn't the way you say it, but I grew up on the English dub, so this is how I prefer to say it. This is just me. So this is, because, okay, what I mean by that is when you say Sao or something like that, it's supposed to be Sao, not cow. But I grew up in the English dub. This is how I'm used to it, okay? So this is how I'm going to say it. Number 7, Cao Ren. Really like Cao Ren. Definitely one of my favorites from Wei. A badass character. Always liked him when I was growing up playing the Dynasty Warriors games. The Dynasty Warriors 4 is one of the ones I played. I loved using Cao Ren in that game, and I thought he was a beast in that game. He had this cool design. He was like this small dude, but he was like a tank. He had like this shield with like this buckler in it. And I always thought he was just a badass character, you know, always on the defense. Nobody could ever break my wall or my guard. He had a phenomenal voice actor. I love Cao Ren's voice actor. He sounds like such a badass. He's fun to use in gameplay. You can shoot out like blades. He has good combos. He's got a good Musu attack. He's got good involvement in the Wei story with the whole Fan Castle thing and needing to stop Guan Yu. One of the things that I always thought was so badass about Cao Ren and Dynasty Warriors 4 and 5 is he is correct me if I'm wrong on this, he's the only character in that game where you can attack enemies at times and you will not get phased. Like, I even have a specific story I can tell all y'all. My brother, for example, is a big fan of these games too. And one time when I was around him, he was playing Dynasty Warriors 5. He was playing Fan Castle. He was playing as Gan Ning. He had Rage Mode activated. And he couldn't even face Cao Ren. Like, that's crazy. That's how much of a beast Cao Ren is. That even a Gan Ning with his Rage activated couldn't even phase Cao Ren, you know. And I always thought that was kind of cool about that character. You could just play as him, and you could take damage, but he couldn't be phased. I always thought that was just badass. And I like his character designs. I like his voice actor. I like his combos. I like his gameplay. I like his Musu attacks. I like what he says when he defeats officers. I like his involvement in the Wei story. I like his, you know, I would say his best versions are like 3. No, he wasn't in 3. Never mind. 4, 5, and 8 in Warriors Orochi 4. Because for a minute they did fuck up Cao Ren. Cao Ren in Dynasty Warriors 6, I don't mind, to be honest with you. I like his design in Dynasty Warriors 6. I think he's a beast with the like the pike he has, but it's more generic than his buckler. But I didn't mind him in Dynasty Warriors 6. He still had his good voice actor in there. He's fun to use in there. Dynasty Warriors 7, fuck him. He sucks in that game. They ruined him with the shitty ass fucking flail. It was terrible. But Dynasty Warriors 8, they improved him again. They gave him back his damn buckler, and he's actually a beast of a character again. So, yeah, at least they improved him again as a character. I don't know what he plays like in 9, because I haven't played 9, but that's my number 7 choice, Cao Ren. Great character. Definitely was definitely was always one of my favorites, and I really like Cao Ren. My number 6 choice is going to be Cao Pi. Really like Cao Pi. I actually prefer him over Cao Cao. I really like Cao Pi. He's an awesome leader. He's always had cool character designs. He was always fun to use in gameplay, whether it was like the dual sword thing he would hold with one arm. I liked his Musu attacks. I liked his combo attacks. I loved his voice actor. He was a very cold, ruthless leader, which I liked. He had a cool design, fun to use in gameplay, cool Musu attacks, cool combos. I liked his story in the games, his involvement with his dad Cao Cao, and then his relationship with Samurai Yi. And then I think he had some rival stuff going on with Sun Quan. And even in Dynasty Warriors 6, more specifically Empires, I didn't mind Cao Pi. That long ass sword they gave him where he's dragging it across a battlefield and he swings it, it's pretty good. He's okay in regular 6, but he was a little bit more generic because they had a lot of clones in that game. But I really did like him in Empires. DW7, I like his design in that game, but I just felt like he was more generic with the 2 swords. It's like, really, that's lame. Thankfully in 8 they fixed that, much like Cao Ren, where he actually had his 2 swords mixed together like he used to have. So yeah, I really like Cao Pi. Great character. If I had to pick like a favorite, I'll go over this when the list is done on which design is my favorite from each character, because I kind of forgot to mention that, but I'll wait until the list is over before I get to that. But yeah, that's my number 6 choice, Cao Pi. Great character designs. I liked his involvement in the Wei story. He was a really good leader. He carried over the coldness and ruthlessness of his dad, and he had a great voice actor. I loved his voice actor in 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. He always had a badass voice actor. Liked using him in gameplay. Liked his combos. I liked his Musu attacks, and he was a very fun character to use in a great new addition of Dynasty Warriors 5. And he's definitely, I would say, my favorite leader from Wei. So yeah, that's my number 6 choice, Cao Pi. My number 5 choice is going to be Lu Meng. I love Lu Meng. Thankfully, this character was never butchered. Love Lu Meng, man. Lu Meng's always been one of my favorites in the Dynasty Warrior series. Ever since I was playing 3, especially 4, Lu Meng became one of my favorites. I love Lu Meng. I've always loved his character designs. I've always loved his personality. He's like a strategist, smart guy, but he's also a warrior at the same time. He was fun to use in 3, 4, and 5 with like the halberd type thing. He would swing it similar to Zhang Liao. I always loved using him in gameplay, his combos. I liked his Musu attacks. I liked what he said when he defeated officers. I always liked his character designs too. I liked his design in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I also liked his relationship with like Ling Tong and Ga Ning. I like his dynamic at Fan Castle, where like I don't know if he respects Guan Yu, but he had to take him down, and then he ended up dying because of it. But some games he actually gets to live longer, which is cool. His relationship with Sun Quan, he knows Sun Quan. His relationship with Lu Xun as well. And even in the newer games, I feel like they didn't ruin him. I found him fun to use in Dynasty Warriors 6. I found him great to use in 7 and 8. Thankfully, he was never ruined as a character. I mean, I haven't played 9, but he's been pretty consistent as a character. Like one of my favorite costumes I get with him was that Dynasty Warriors 4 outfit where you unlock it and you get like the turban. That was really cool. So that's definitely my number 5 choice, Lu Meng. Definitely always been one of my favorite characters. Really like him a lot. My number 4 choice is going to be Sun Quan. I love Sun Quan. Definitely one of my favorite characters from Dynasty Warriors and Wu itself. Sun Quan is a motherfucking badass. I fucking love Sun Quan. Now, not so much big on like 7 and 8 Sun Quan, but like Dynasty Warriors 3 to 6 Sun Quan, love that Sun Quan. I love his voice actor, more specifically 4, 5, and 6. Love his voice actor. It always sounded so badass. He always made him sound like such a beast. The way he does attacks and sound effects. I always liked his designs. I've always liked how he was in gameplay, his Musu attack, the way he controls in combat with the sword. His charge attacks are really good. He was really good in DW5 and Words What You Wanted To, where he could just stomp the ground, and he could do like this attack where he has like a flame on the sword, and something like that. And whereas Orochi, I think it was 1 or 2, one of them he had the R1 attack. He was a strong leader of Wu, you know. He had to really take on the reins of Wu because his dad dies, then his brother Sun Se dies, so then he has to take on the reins. He's got a badass bodyguard like Shou Tai. So I've always loved Sun Quan, man. Like he was even fun to use in Dynasty Warrior 6. I liked him in Dynasty Warrior 6. You know, now they got rid of his facial hair, but that didn't bother me as much with Liu Bei, which I'll get to. But Sun Quan was even fun to use in 6. And one of the things I liked about that one is he still had his voice actor. You know, he still had his original voice actor in 4 and 5. And then I feel like they ruined him in 7 and 8. He's more of a coward, in my opinion. I feel like they made him more just kind of weak. I think that has a lot to do with the voice actor change. Like Sun Quan used to be more of a badass dude who had to get tough and, you know, hold shit down because he lost his dad, he lost his brother, so now he's got to hold the Wu Kingdom down himself. And I feel like they made him soft in 7 and 8, in my opinion. He's fun to use, I would say, in 8, and he's pretty good in Warriors Orochi 4 with that flaming sword, but they ruined him, to be honest, as a character. But I wouldn't say his, like, Sun Quan wasn't ruined as bad, I would say, as like Dong Zhuo and like Gan Ning, because at least in 7 and 8 he was a little bit more playable than them. He at least still had the sword somewhat. It was just more so his personality and voice actor that I had a criticism of. But that is my number 4 choice, Sun Quan. Really love his character. Always thought he was a badass. Always one of my favorites to use in gameplay. Always liked his designs, and I always liked the way his voice sounded and the sound effects he made in his combos and Musu attacks and special attacks. And mainly the versions I'm referring to is like 4 and 5. That's like my favorite Sun Quan. Just love his designs, love his badass voice there, using them in gameplay. His sword was always cool looking. It had like these spikes on it, and it always had like the name Wolf on it. He was always just such a beast and a badass of a character. And 6 was the last time he was really amazing, I thought. I really enjoyed using Sun Quan in number 6. He was a badass. And like I remembered one part that was badass. This dude was trying to lure him out. You know, poor little baby hiding your father's shadow. And he was like, what did you say? I'll shut your mouth, but good. You know, talking trash. Like, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, he used to be a tough dude, man. Now he's fucking soft, I feel like. But, yeah, that's my number 4 choice, Sun Quan. My number 3 choice is going to be Liu Bei. Now, not talking about Liu Bei from 7 and 8 and 9 and Warriors Orochi 3 and 4, because that is just a downgrade in my opinion. But from Dynasty Warriors 3 to 5, hell fucking yeah, Liu Bei is one of my favorite Dynasty Warriors characters. I love Liu Bei, specifically Dynasty Warriors 3 to 5. Always was fun to use with the sword he had. I always liked his Musu attacks. I always liked his charge attacks and his special attacks. And another reason I prefer this version is because he had the facial hair. You know, he was a leader of Shu. He had an interesting relationship and dynamic with Zhang Fei and Guan Yu. They swore an oath as the 3 brothers. You know, he was very pissed when Guan Yu was killed, and he just got mad in the Yi Ling thing. His voice actor is awesome in Dynasty Warriors 3, 4, and 5. I like his voice actor in 3. It's badass. But my favorite voice actor of Liu Bei is Dynasty Warriors 4 and 5. His voice actor in that game was phenomenal. I love his voice actor in 4 and 5. He just made him sound like a beast and a badass and a really cool character. Love his design in 3, specifically 4 and 5. You know, he was just very fun to use in gameplay. Great special attacks, great combos, great Musu attack. I enjoyed his story. I enjoyed seeing him lead Shu. You know, he was a good guy. He wanted to help peasants. He wanted to go against Cao Cao. And he wanted to take down Wei and Yi Ling after they betrayed him and killed Guan Yu. And, you know, he was a good leader of Shu. He had a great strategist like Zhuge Liang. He had a great bodyguard like Zhao Yun. And, you know, growing up playing the Dynasty Warriors games, especially for Liu Bei, was always one of my favorites and one of the ones I enjoyed using the most and just had the most fun using as a character, unlocking costumes, playing as in gameplay. So yeah, that's my number 3 choice, Liu Bei. Great character. But what they did to him though in 7 and 8 and 9 and Warriors Orochi 3 and 4, terrible. I hate what they did to Liu Bei. They ruined his character. They gave him a worse voice actor. They got rid of his facial hair, which makes no sense because he's like the one and only leader of Shu for the entirety of the series. So why are you making him look young? Like, the thing with Sun Quan, I prefer him with facial hair, but I feel like with Sun Quan it would make more sense because he's the youngest compared to his dad and brother, whereas Liu Bei is like, you know, he's the only leader, and he has a son too, so I feel like to get rid of his facial hair is stupid. Getting rid of his facial hair made him look dumb, made him look soft. Changing his voice actor, I don't like the new voice actor for Liu Bei, it just doesn't fit him as well. I don't like the whole two swords crap in any of the new iterations from 6 to onward. I mean, he is a beast to use in gameplay in Dynasty Warriors 6. Like, I did enjoy using him in that game. He was fun to use. And, you know, he was okay personality-wise, but I don't know, man. Like, from 6 to now, like, he could be fun to use, and he's not trash gameplay-wise, but it's just weapon-wise, character-wise, personality-wise, voice actor-wise, design-wise. I don't really like what they did with Liu Bei from 6 to now. They should have kept him how he was in 5 and 4 and 3. That was the best Liu Bei, and that's what they need to go back to. Bring back his facial hair, bring back his voice actor from 4 and 5, bring back his weapon. Fuck the twin sword shit. I prefer his regular sword. He was a damn beast, man. So that's my number 3 choice, Liu Bei. Number 2 choice is going to be Pang Tong. Love Pang Tong. Easily one of my favorite Dynasty Warriors characters in the series. Always really liked Pang Tong ever since I grew up in the Dynasty Warriors games. Definitely one of my favorite characters from Shu, my favorite strategist. I just always thought he was so cool, you know? Like his design, he has like a hat and he has like this face mask. He always looked like a ninja pretty much. And he had like this staff that was fun to use. I always liked using him in gameplay, his combo attacks. I liked his voice actor. I liked his combos. I liked his involvement in the story of helping Liu Bei and the stuff he was doing at Chibi. Now, I know he's a character that dies early, but I don't care. A lot of times, the best characters that die early, like example, Walking Dead, are actually the best characters in the series if you think about it. But yeah, I've always liked his character designs. I feel like, and another thing about Pang Tong that I will say is I feel like he's a character that was never really ruined. In my opinion, I don't think they've ever ruined him as a character, because through the entire series, they've always kept his staff. And I would say gameplay-wise, I mean, he is tough to use at times, you know, and it can be challenging the way he attacks with the staff and stuff. But I still enjoy him gameplay-wise. But I would say his best gameplay version is Dynasty Warriors 6. He's a beast in that game, the way he attacks and stuff. I would say his best gameplay is in 6. His design in that game is awesome, and I think it's cool how they gave him Sam Ai's voice actor from Dynasty Warriors 5. Makes him sound a lot more tough, a lot more badass. His voice actor, though, in 3 and 4 it's some of the funniest shit ever, man. I love... Dude, Pang Tong's voice actor in Dynasty Warriors 4 has to be one of my like favorite English dub voice actors. He's just so funny. Because every time he gets hit, he's like, ah, oh, like the way Pang Tong sounds when he gets attacked in 4 is just fucking hilarious. And at times he sounds like a redneck when he goes like, oh yeah, ah, you know, and it's funny, you know. And then in 3, his voice actor was funny. Like every time he gets hit in 3, he laughs, you know. Like I always loved the goofiness and funniness of Pang Tong's voice actors in 3 and 4. But his voice actor in 5 and 6, definitely his best voice actor. But I liked his voice actor in 4. Loved his designs. Fun to use in gameplay. Definitely my favorite strategist. I always just thought he was the coolest, man. He's the... Which one is he? He's the fledgling phoenix, right? Am I getting that right? Because I know Zhuge Liang's a sleeping dragon. So yeah, I've always liked Pang Tong, man. Like, always enjoyed him in gameplay. Always enjoyed his combos, his musu, his specials, his character designs, his voice actors, his involvement in the gameplay story. His dynamic with Zhuge Liang's cool. With Liu Bei's cool. It sucks when he dies early on, but there are versions of certain games where he can live longer, which is always awesome. I think in 6, yeah, I think in 6 he had his own story mode. No, I know he did. Never mind on that. That's my number 2 choice, Pang Tong. I've always liked Pang Tong. So my number 1 choice, my all-time favorite Dynasty Warriors character, is the Tiger of Zhongdong, Sun Jian. Easily the best Dynasty Warriors character in my opinion. Easily my favorite Dynasty Warriors character. The guy is a badass motherfucker, man. I've always loved Sun Jian. He's always been my all-time favorite Dynasty Warriors characters. My first Dynasty Warriors game was Dynasty Warriors 3. That's what I started with. That was the first one I played, and he was like the first character I used, I think, or one of the first, but I think he had to be the first. And, you know, from 3 all the way to now, I've always just found him fun to use in gameplay, great combo attacks, great Musu, great voice actor, amazing character designs, and he was always just such a badass leader. Like, he had balls, he wasn't scared, he was ready to throw down. He was just such a strong leader in the Dynasty Warriors series, especially for the Wu Kingdom, you know. He was a badass, he was the Tiger of Zhongdong, he had great voice actors, he was fun to use in gameplay, he had a great weapon, always had good character designs, great Musu attacks, great combos, great involvements in the story, good chemistry with Sun Shang, Sun Se, and Sun Quan. His involvement with getting rid of Yellow Turbans, getting rid of Dong Zhuo, his involvement in Dynasty Warriors. Dude, the stuff they did with him in Dynasty Warriors 6, phenomenal. Like the what if shit they did, because Sun Quan is not Sun Quan, Sun Jian is another character that's supposed to die early, according to history. Like after Yellow Turban and Dong Zhuo, he eventually dies early on, and Sun Se takes over. You know the story. But there's ways you can go around that, because certain Warriors games let you make him live, and I think he should have lived, because I think he was the best leader for Wu, and he could stack up against Liu Bei and Cao Cao. That's for damn sure in terms of leadership. But I love what they did with him in 6. Like in 6, he gets to go to Jia Pi and fight Lu Bu. I thought that was so cool. I was like, this is badass. This changes the whole formula up. Or like the final stage where he takes the fight to Cao Cao, and it's Sun Jian versus Cao Cao at Hefei. That was bad fucking ass. And you know, Sun Jian always would, like, I think he would like serve the emperor. That was his thing. I don't think he ever wanted to take over, but in certain games I think he does take over. And I've always liked him gameplay wise. 3, 4, 5, he's great. I liked him in 6. I liked his design in that. I liked his gameplay in 7. I liked his design in that. I liked his sword in 8. It was really cool with like the 10 rings or whatever it's called, and then like these shock waves come out when you attack. I like his design in 9. I haven't used him in 9. I haven't played Dynasty Warriors 9, but he was fun to use in Warriors Orochi 3. He was fun to use in Warriors Orochi 4. And yeah, Sun Jian's just always been my favorite Dynasty Warriors character of all time. I just always found him to be such a badass, man. Like from his designs, his voice actor, his gameplay, how he carries himself as a leader. Like he's just a true beast, a true leader, a true badass motherfucker. And he's always been one of the first characters I want to use all the time. Always been my favorite. Always thought he was the coolest. Definitely my favorite leader. And with him being number 1, I would say Wu is definitely my favorite kingdom. So yeah, number 1, definitely Sun Jian. And real quick, I'm going to go through what my favorite designs are for each character. So for Zhuge Dan, I would say my favorite design is this one from 8. That definitely was cool with the gloves. I like that more than 7. For Gan Ning, my favorite design from Gan Ning would definitely be his DW4 design with the jacket and headband. I thought that looked the coolest. For number 8, my favorite Dong Zhuo design would be number 4. I thought he looked the coolest in that game with his spiky armor and helmet and stuff like that. And number 7, my favorite Cao Ren design would have to be his Dynasty Warriors 4 design. I thought he looked the coolest in that with his armor and stuff like that. Favorite design number 6 of Cao Pi would be Dynasty Warriors 6. Yeah, definitely 6. I like his cape. I like how he looks in that game. He has a cool ass design, though 5 is close, but I would say my favorite design from DW6. Number 5, my favorite design of Lu Meng would definitely be his Dynasty Warriors 4 design. I liked his design in that game the most. And then for number 4, my favorite design for Sun Quan would definitely have to be his Dynasty Warriors 5 design. He looked the best in that one with the facial hair and armor. And then for 3, Liu Bei, my favorite design from him would be his Dynasty Warriors 4 design. I think he looked the coolest in that one, though. His 1 and 5 is a close second. And then my favorite design, number 2, Peng Tong. My favorite Peng Tong design would actually I would go with 4 because I've always liked that one in the hat. No, fuck that. My favorite Ping Tong design is from Dynasty Warriors 6. I think he looks the coolest in that. He looks so cool in that game. And then, my favorite character design for Soon-Jan for number 1 would be, I would say, Dynasty Warriors 4. Yeah, that was my favorite character design for Soon-Jan. So, that's it for my top 10 Dynasty Warriors characters. My top 10 favorite Dynasty Warriors characters who I like the most. This was a very hard list to make, very difficult, because there's a lot of people I was going to put on here. And I'll consider them honorable mentions. Like I was going to put Sima Yi on here, Yuan Shao, Zhao Yuan, Tai Shi Shi. You know, there's Wo Chi, there's Zhang Fei, there's Dian Wei, there's Huang Gai. You know, there's a lot of characters, so it's very hard to make a list. But I had to make choices. I had to pick somebody. You know. And I didn't want to have like too many of one force, right? I didn't want to have just all majority Wu or majority Wei or majority Shu. I kind of mixed, like here's some from Wei, here's some from Wu, here's some from Shu, and then here's one from other and one from Jin, right? So that's it for my top 10 Dynasty Warriors characters. Let me know what your top 10 Dynasty Warriors characters are in the comment section below. Leave your list. And make sure to subscribe to this channel if you're into gaming and want to watch a channel that talks all about gaming. And make sure to give the video a like if you liked this video. That's all I got to say in this video for top 10 Dynasty Warriors characters. Peace out.